Coming up, Brett Kavanaugh is now on the Supreme Court, but what does this mean for North Carolinians?
Oh, I think all these amendments are trying to trick voters.
And we hear a lot about political candidates, but there are also some big amendments on North Carolina's ballot, and a few of them are very controversial.
Hurricane Michael just made landfall. Coming up, I'll tell you how Hurricane Michael might impact the Triangle.
From the UNC School of Media and Journalism, connecting Carolina's campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Good afternoon, I'm Emily Wakeman.
And I'm Madison Forsey. Let's get right to our top story. The battle over Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation to the United States Supreme Court is finally over. Kavanaugh was sworn into office on Saturday by a narrow 50-48 vote, making him the 114th Supreme Court justice. The nomination process deepened the divide between the already polarized House and Senate. Democrat Cory Booker said Americans shouldn't lose hope in spite of the decision. Republican Senator Susan Collins surprised many by voting for Kavanaugh. She said she believes UNC alumna Dr. Christine Blasey Ford was sexually assaulted, just not by Kavanaugh. President Trump said he's very proud of the U.S. Senate for advancing Kavanaugh's nomination. We asked UNC students for their thoughts.
I mean, there was no hope. Like, I kind of knew who was going to get confirmed. I think the thing that was most hitting was seeing that Senator Collins voted to confirm him, and also just the speech she gave. I mean, it was really disheartening to see that, like, another woman could feel that way and disregard everything that Dr. Ford had said.
I mean, just given his, like, demeanor and the way he spoke at the hearings seemed a little bit unstable to me. Like, regardless of political opinion, he didn't seem like an appropriate judge.
Kavanaugh is the second judge nominated by President Trump to the Supreme Court. Justice Neil Gorsuch was confirmed last year.
Some say the confirmation of Kavanaugh could have serious implications for future landmark decisions the Supreme Court makes.
So I think it's easy to perhaps overgeneralize. I think it's very likely we're going to see 5-4 decisions. I think it's very likely we're going to see conservative decisions. But I do think that with the court, usually there's always an element of surprise, sometimes from both sides.
This week will be Kavanaugh's first week on the bench.
Dr. Christine Blasey Ford has just been nominated for the UNC Distinguished Alumna Award. Ford graduated from Carolina in 1988 with a degree in psychology. The award is intended for alumni who have made an outstanding contribution to humanity. The winners will be announced at University Day later this month.
With a very close number of Republicans and Democrats in Congress, a few seats either way could tip the balance. That's why both parties have been urging their supporters to vote in the midterm elections. Reporter Mariam Mohammed joins us live from the Student Union, where many students have already registered to vote. Mariam?
That's right, Madison. For the past couple of weeks, volunteers have targeted this campus to try to get students to register and vote, as this is a demographic that typically doesn't vote in midterm elections, but it could be huge if they do. What's interesting is that 83 million millennials registered to vote in the 2016 elections, but only 24 million actually made it to the polls. This is obviously a huge loss, most likely for the Democratic Party, as younger voters tend to lean more Democratic. If you aren't already registered to vote, you still have time. The deadline is this Friday, and the elections are Tuesday, November 6th. In the Union, Mariam Mohammed, Carolina Week.
6 North Carolina constitutional amendments will be on your ballot when you head to the polls next month. Let's take a look at them. First up, the right to hunt and fish and harvest wildlife. This amendment protects an existing right to hunt and fish. Next up, an amendment to strengthen the protection for victims of crime. This will expand victims' rights to things like receiving notice of court proceedings and information about the conviction. Next, an amendment to reduce the maximum income tax from 10% to 7%. This can be misleading because it won't actually change the current tax rate, which is below 5%. The next amendment requires a photo ID to vote in person. Legislators haven't specified what kind of ID voters will need. Some critics worry that it will disenfranchise over 300,000 eligible NC voters that do not have a photo ID. The last two amendments will shift the power away from the governor, with an amendment on the selection of judicial vacancies. This would remove the governor's power to appoint judicial vacancies between elections and give this power to the legislators. The last amendment will be to cut the number of State Board of Ethics members from 9 to 8. This amendment would also transfer appointment power from the governor to NC legislators. And some of these amendments are very controversial. Last month, Governor Roy Cooper and the NAACP asked the state Supreme Court to throw out 4 of the amendments, but the court allowed them to stay on the ballot. Republicans who have a majority in the legislature got the votes necessary to get all 6 amendments on the ballot. This will be the first time in 4 years that North Carolinians have voted on constitutional amendments. Some Democratic legislators argue that the amendments are misleading.
Because they are deceptive, they are misleading. We don't know what the details will be because we're scheduled to go back into session 2 weeks after the election to fill in this blank contract that they're asking voters to give them. That's not the way to do it. These amendments also could be...
The NC legislature reconvenes in late November if any of the amendments pass.
Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs Winston Crisp announced he'll be retiring after more than 26 years of working at UNC. A big personality and figure on campus, Crisp has been in the role since 2010. He served on the Chancellor's Task Force on University History and recently created another task force focusing on mental health care. Crisp recently came under fire for text about Silent Sam when his chief of staff texted him about a protest happening around the Confederate monument and asked if he thought it would be pulled down. Crisp responded with, quote, "One can only hope." And later, what a mess. After the news of his retirement broke, Crisp took to Twitter to thank people for the well wishes. He will officially retire at the end of the month.
Silent Sam's fate remains unknown, but many joined a forum on Monday to express their opinions. Carolina's Public Humanities hosted the Public Spaces and Collective Memories Forum. Organizers hope to start a conversation about the link between public spaces representing historical memories and cultural values. Silent Sam and the statue's future on campus was a widely discussed topic. One of the panelists, former Chancellor Dr. James Messer, reflected on his time as Chancellor, saying he wishes he would have taken it down much earlier.
Well, if it goes up anywhere publicly outside of a secured facility inside of a building someplace, it's going to be the constant source of demonstrations and potential violence. So I think it cannot go back.
UNC has until mid-November to make a decision.
Time now for our first look at our weather today.
Tess Mansuli is here to tell us all that we need to know.
It is currently 76 degrees outside and drizzling. Let's take a quick look to see what's happening. So as you can see, there will be scattered thunderstorms throughout the rest of the day and into the week. How much rain you can expect, I'll tell you during full weather.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
UNC welcomed 708 transfer students this fall.
That's right. It's all thanks to a program called C-STEP. Even more will be able to call themselves Tar Heels in 2019. Reporter Emily Coker, she has the story.
Mia Sardinia always dreamed about going to Carolina, but realities such as finances, a large campus, and family responsibilities kept her from being able to commit to UNC as a high school senior. But thanks to a UNC program called C-STEP, students like Sardinia are able to fulfill their dreams of becoming Tar Heels.
So when I went to the community college, it allowed me to gradually get used to the bigger class sizes, gradually get used to the higher course load and expectations.
The Carolina Student Transfer Excellence Program is one that allows students to apply to Carolina when in high school, but to first achieve their associate's degree at a partnering community college. During their 2 years at community college, students are slowly integrated into UNC with tours, meetings with counselors, and peer groups.
So I get to come here with people I know from my community college, so it's like a built-in kind of friendship group. And then when I get here, I get to meet the other students from the other community colleges.
As of the end of July, the program has expanded to its 11th school, Southwestern Community College in Sylva, North Carolina.
We're looking forward to being able to bring in students from further away. We do hope that this partnership will be mutually beneficial for us in being able to bring in students from different parts of the state of North Carolina and for students from Sylva.
Each year, about 150 of UNC's 800 transfer students are C-STEP students. And as of 2018, the average C-STEP student GPA is a 3.0, and the graduation rate is at 81%. Sardinia believes that C-STEP gave her the Carolina journey that was just right for her, and encourages high school students who want to be Tar Heels to heavily consider this program.
I would say if you're interested in the program, definitely do it because you have really nothing to lose and it's a great help along the way.
Thanks to C-STEP, Mia Sardinia began her undergraduate career here and will be ending it here. And now many more students from Southwestern Community College get to do the same. Reporting from Chapel Hill, Carolina Week.
Next fall, UNC will welcome 15 C-STEP students from Southwestern Community College.
It's a charity event to honor the memory of Eve Carson, the UNC student body president murdered in 2008. About 900 people ran in the 11th annual Eve Carson Memorial 5K on Saturday. Runners started at the Campus Y and made their way around campus. Money raised from the event goes towards scholarships and literacy initiatives. Organizers say they're still taking donations, but so far they've raised around $45,000.
And that's what the money goes towards, is because Eve really believed in the power of Chapel Hill students. She believed in the power of Carolina, and that's why the scholarship was created.
Donations can be made until October 14th on the Eve Carson 5K website.
Another annual event drew crowds to Chapel Hill over the weekend, this one to celebrate artists. Festifall marked its 45th year this past Saturday. More than 100 artists featured their work. Many were up for sale. The event hosted live performances, games, and of course, lots of food. Organizers say they're there to present unique items that are never manufactured or mass-produced.
Turning to weather now, Tess Bensouly is here to tell us what to expect this week.
You can expect more rain in the forecast, so it's currently drizzling and 76 degrees outside, and you can expect scattered thunderstorms for the rest of the day and into the night. We'll have a brief period without rain this evening and late in the night before tomorrow morning when Hurricane Michael hits North Carolina and brings even more rain. So we have a tropical update for you. Everyone is talking about Hurricane Michael, which hit the Panhandle region of Florida earlier today. First, I want to touch on some other tropical developments. Tropical storm Nadine developed Tuesday in the Atlantic, and Hurricane Leslie, a Category 1 hurricane, sustaining winds of 75 miles per hour, is still just hanging out in the Atlantic, has been there for about 2 weeks. So now let's focus on Michael. So Hurricane Michael is the most destructive storm to hit the Panhandle region of Florida. It hit earlier today, the eye just going over that area, and is heading towards the Carolinas. So Governor Roy Cooper has declared a state of emergency for North Carolina. We are expecting Hurricane Michael to make landfall in North Carolina around Thursday, late morning, early afternoon, and it's going to bring heavy rain to the area, which is the last thing North Carolina needs right now after Hurricane Florence. So we can expect 3 to 5 inches in the Triangle region. This is the rain forecast. Also, we are expecting 30 to 50 mile per hour winds across the state. The ground's already saturated from the heavy rain patterns we experienced before Hurricane Michael hitting us, and we'll expect rain to follow afterwards, which is going to lead to likely flash flooding. There's a flash flood advisory in effect until Friday morning, but good news, if there is any, is that Hurricane Michael is accelerating through the region, which won't leave it to leave rain over the area. So it'll clear up just in time for the state fair to kick off, which is tomorrow. So we're going to tell you our fair weather forecast and the best days to go. So with Hurricane Michael hitting the area tomorrow, would not suggest Thursday. It's going to be heavy thunderstorms. They may restrict rides with the wind, but there'll be an update later. We're waiting to hear when they update us. Every other day the weather is looking great for the fair. So basically every day that is in white is a great day to go. The only other day I would say to avoid is Monday the 15th. There are scattered thunderstorms, but depending on if you want a cooler day, you can go on the 17th with more cloud coverage, or maybe this weekend, temperatures will be in the 70s and it will actually start feeling like fall. Here's a look at the radar currently. As you can see, this is the rain we are currently getting, and will clear up early on Friday. It is starting to finally feel like fall, which is great. You can expect temperatures to start dropping, and the highs will be in like the mid 70s, and the lows will start dipping into the upper 40s. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you can expect sunshine. Sunday it'll be mostly sunny. Great time to go to the fair. On Monday, you can expect it partly cloudy, and Tuesday, sunny again. So after Hurricane Michael comes through the area, it'll be pretty much sunshine from there. That's all I have for weather this week.
Thanks so much, Tess. What started with roughly 20 friends as a place to share ideas is now a Facebook page with nearly 6,000 members. What happened? Trisha Bonthu has the story.
Babes Who Blade. You may have heard of it. It's a Facebook page for babes. In other words, it's an exclusive group for women, non-binary, non-cis men. Basically, no boys allowed. The page, started by UNC students in July of 2017, has exploded in popularity. UNC transfer student Emma Hayes is an active member of the group.
Didn't know a ton of people when I transferred to Chapel Hill, so it's been a really great resource for me to meet people, feel like there's a community that I'm a part of.
The page is used for just about everything. Babes can ask questions ranging from their sexual health to a pair of shoes.
For people to walk my dog. I've posted asking for recommendations for professors, looking for good recipes. I've posted wanting relationship advice.
Admin member for the page, Treasure Williams, explains why men aren't allowed in the group.
I think the general consensus is to provide a safe place for people who don't identify as men to talk about certain issues that affect women and non-binary people and transgender people. So I think it's just for allowing for a space for those conversations to happen.
UNC sophomore Clara Matthews used Babes Who Blade to find a place off campus and has been an active member ever since.
You don't really have anything to lose. If it isn't the perfect fit, there are subgroups that will be.
The page currently has 5,755 members. But with 37 subgroups like Babes Who Cook or Babes of Color, you can find answers or advice from just about anyone. In Chapel Hill, I'm Trisha Bonthu, Carolina Week.
To join the Babes Who Blade group, you'll have to answer 3 online questions. The moderators will review your answers and then decide if you're allowed in.
Coming up, it's basketball season already. A favorite Chapel Hill event is happening Friday night. That and more when Carolina Week returns.
He may not be as polished offensively as Johnson pulls up.
It's me, Artie. Come see what I collected from the Creative Galaxy in my idea box.
Transform your world.
Will you help me make art?
Before you throw it away,
Hey, I have an idea.
think outside the box.
Go be amazing!
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
Connor is struggling in school.
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
Why don't you understand me?
I do. This is what it feels like for kids with learning and attention issues. Redirecting to understood.org.
Hey, did you know that 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Go to theshelterpetproject.org and search your local shelters and rescues. Go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere will bring us wireless emergency alerts. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Timothy Jones. The UNC men's basketball team held its annual media day yesterday, signaling the quick approach of the season. Perhaps most excited for the beginning of the season are seniors Cameron Johnson, Luke May, and Kenny Williams. Shooting guard Kenny Williams will look to build on an impressive junior campaign with 72 three-pointers made on 40% shooting. Graduate transfer Cam Johnson will aim to pose a threat from the outside as well as in the paint to finish out his last year of eligibility. Rounding out the big three is 2018 All-ACC First Team and Most Improved player Luke May, who wants to start the season right where he left off last year, averaging 16.9 points and 10.1 rebounds per game. With basketball season coming up, it's already once again time for Late Night with Roy. This Friday, doors open in the Dean Smith Center at 4 o'clock with Carolina Volleyball taking on Pittsburgh. Then Late Night with Roy kicks off at 7 p.m. featuring the Carolina women's and men's basketball teams performing dances and competing in skills challenges. The event finishes with the blue-white scrimmage, when fans will get their first look at the 2018-19 squads in action, along with their first look at star freshman Nazir Little. Former Carolina athletes Antoine Jameson and Molly Sullivan are your hosts for the festivities. The event is free to the public. Now we head over to the soccer field. The Carolina men's team was scoreless for a while against the Old Dominion Monarchs on Tuesday. But in the 42nd minute, Jelani Peters finds Mauricio Pineda, who scores a goal and gives the Heels a 1-0 lead. Pineda with his 4th goal of the season. But the Monarchs weren't done as James Ellis kicked one in the back of the net, tying the game and sending the Heels into not 1, but 2 overtimes. Heels unable to score on this attempt, and the game ends in a draw. Heels now 9-1-1 on the season. Don't forget, Tar Heel fans, the football team will be playing under the lights in Kenan Stadium Saturday night at 7 p.m. against Virginia Tech. Carolina has had a rough go of it on the gridiron so far, but the players want you out there to show your support. Madison?
Thanks so much, Timothy. One of fall's classic traditions is carving pumpkins, but this place does it with a twist. At Springhaven Farms in Chapel Hill, you get to pick your perfect pumpkin while hanging out with baby goats. The farm also has tractor rides, face painting, and other fun farm animals like pigs, horses, and even chickens. The event is becoming a fall tradition for many locals.
The thing that makes the farm special as a whole is the atmosphere. It's definitely really relaxing. I can have a stressful day, and the minute I come to work, it's just fresh air and nice creatures, and then just happiness in general.
The Spring Haven Farm Pumpkin Patch will be open the rest of October on weekends from 2 to 6. And on this week's community calendar, reporter Emily Coker has some events that might help you relax and have fun during the midterm season.
Thanks, Madison. We've got some great events for you guys to check out this weekend. First is the NC State Fair, which begins tomorrow. And oh my gosh, sorry. Here are some ways that you guys can save. Parking is free at PNC Arena and Carter Finley Stadium. Then the Dizzy Pass sales end tomorrow. So for $31, you can get admission into the fair and all the rides that you can possibly ride. And then this Friday only, you can get into the fair for $6 with your student ID. Next, we've got Diwali in Cary. The traditional Hindu Festival of Lights is happening this Saturday. You can expect Bollywood performers, food, and even a bazaar. It's at the Coca-Booth Amphitheater in Raleigh, and best of all, it is free. Next, we have the Transients Emerging Artist Exhibition happening at the North Carolina Museum of Art. It's an exhibit focused on cultural identity and the dynamics of cultural exchange, and UNC professor Leanne Trong is being featured. It's running all the way till December, and it is also free. Finally, goat yoga. What better way to de-stress with exam season than with baby goats and yoga? At Huck's Family Farm, you can go any weekend from now until December 9th, and admission prices ranges from $15 to $25 depending on the class that you choose. That's what's going on outside of Carolina. Be sure to tune in next week to add to your community calendar. Back to you guys.
Well, there is so many fun things going on this month in October.
Know. The goat yoga, that's what I'm most excited for.
I know,
that's
this weekend. That's going to do it for us this week on Carolina Week.
Thank you so much for watching, and have a good night.